Tank Encyclopedia, we primarily focus on historical vehicles. However, from time to time, we like to shift gears and explore something different, delving into the realm of science fiction. In today's video, we'll take you far into the future, into the 41st millennium, where humanity has colonized the galaxy, only to find itself besieged on all sides by various alien races and traitorous factions. So it can be said that, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there is only war. If you're familiar with this setting, you've likely guessed that we're talking about the Warhammer 40k universe. With countless factions locked in a galaxy-spanning conflict, an array of armoured vehicles has been deployed on the battlefield. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at one such war machine, the Repulsor, a formidable anti-gravitic tank and a relatively new addition to the Space Marine arsenal. Before diving into the history and design of the Repulsor, it's important to first set the stage with a brief look at the Warhammer 40k universe. The setting takes place at the end of the 41st and the beginning of the 42nd millennium, an age defined by relentless war, religious fanaticism, and humanity's struggle for survival. At the heart of this dystopian future is the Imperium of Man, a vast galaxy-spanning human empire teetering on the edge of collapse, besieged from all sides by alien invaders, heretical uprisings, and nightmarish horrors from beyond reality. The Imperium fights an unending war to maintain its fragile existence. At its head is the God Emperor of mankind, an immortal ruler who has remained entombed on the Golden Throne for over 10,000 years, his shattered body sustained only by ancient and barely understood technology. In his absence, the Imperium is governed by the High Lords of Terror, a ruling council of bureaucrats, warlords and religious zealots who maintain order through sheer authoritarian might. Across the countless worlds of the Imperium, trillions of citizens endure lives of hardship and oppression, where ignorance is enforced, technology stagnates, and the ever-present fear of alien threats or heretical corruption keeps society in a state of perpetual paranoia. Yet, despite this grim existence, the faith in their undying emperor fuels the Imperium's war machine, driving its armies ever forward in a crusade that has lasted for millennia. The Imperium's primary military force is the Astra Militarum, more commonly known as the Imperial Guard, the largest standing army in the universe, composed of countless millions of regiments, each backed by a formidable arsenal of armoured vehicles and artillery. However, when sheer numbers and firepower are not enough, the Imperium calls upon its elite warriors, the Adeptus Astartes, better known as the Space Marines. These genetically engineered super soldiers were created by the God Emperor of mankind in the late 30th millennium, designed to be vastly superior to ordinary humans in every way, stronger, faster and more resilient, with bodies and minds specifically tailored for war. Originally, the Space Marines served as the vanguard of the Emperor's Great Crusade, a campaign to reclaim the galaxy for humanity. To lead this endeavour, he forged 20 Space Marine legions, each commanded by a Primarch, a being of immense power akin to a demigod. As the spearhead of the Emperor's armies, the Space Marines were granted the finest technology the Imperium had to offer. They were equipped with devastating ranged and melee weaponry, cutting-edge armoured suits, and an array of advanced war machines, including tanks, aircraft, and towering battleships, capable of raining destruction across entire star systems. After 2 centuries of relentless conquest, the Emperor had succeeded in claiming vast regions of the Milky Way for humanity. Confident in his victory, he withdrew from the front lines and entrusted command of the Imperial forces to his favourite trusted son, Primarch Horus Lupercal. However, this decision would prove to be his greatest mistake. Horus, seduced by the dark whispers of the Chaos Gods, turned against his father and led a massive rebellion. This betrayal ignited the infamous Horus Heresy, a devastating civil war that engulfed the galaxy. For years, the Imperium was torn apart by brutal conflict, as brother fought against brother in an apocalyptic struggle. Though the Emperor's loyal forces ultimately triumphed, the cost of victory was staggering. Entire worlds lay in ruin, billions perished, and the Emperor himself was left mortally wounded, entombed within the Golden Throne to preserve his existence. In the wake of the heresy, fearing that another large-scale rebellion could one day threaten the Imperium, Rabute Guilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines, penned the Codex Astartes. This comprehensive tome laid out new combat doctrines and strict organisational reforms for the Space Marines. One of the most significant changes was the dissolution of the massive legions into smaller, more manageable chapters, each limited to 1,000 warriors. However, as the Imperium became more rigid and dogmatic in the centuries that followed, much of its technological knowledge began to wither. Advanced systems, such as anti-gravitic vehicles, slowly faded from existence, lost to time due to the destruction of standard template constructs. These ancient, invaluable machines once provided humanity with the blueprints to manufacture countless technologies, from mundane tools to towering war machines. With their loss, many of the Imperium's greatest advancements became irreplaceable relics of the past. By the end of the 41st millennium, the Imperium teetered on the brink of annihilation. The opening of the Great Rift, a massive galaxy-spanning tear in reality, had split the Imperium in half, engulfing countless worlds in warp-born madness and chaos. Entire sectors fell to darkness, and the Imperium's already fragile hold on its territories weakened further. Yet, just as all seemed lost, a long-forgotten figure returned to the stage, Repulsor Guilliman. Mortally wounded in battle 10,000 years earlier, he had been placed in a stasis field, frozen in time at the moment of his near death. Through a combination of ancient technology and forbidden psychic rituals, he was resurrected. His body restored, his mind sharpened, and his purpose renewed. Upon awakening, Guilliman was horrified by the Imperium's decline. To reclaim control and lead humanity back from the abyss, he needed an army capable of matching the growing threats arrayed against it. Fortunately, Archmagus Dominus Belisarius Call had spent the last 10 millennia working in secret to enhance the Emperor's original Space Marine design. After centuries of tireless effort, he had finally succeeded, the creation of the Primaris Space Marines. These new warriors were larger, stronger, faster, and more durable than their predecessors, wielding superior armour and weaponry. With this new breed of superhuman soldiers at his command, Guilliman launched the Indomitus Crusade, a galaxy-spanning military campaign to reclaim lost worlds, crush the forces of chaos, and restore order to the Imperium before it was too late. In addition to improving the existing Space Marine forces, Call also focused on revolutionizing their armoured transport. One of his most notable creations was the Repulsor, an anti-gravitic main battle tank, heavily armed and well protected. This vehicle not only packed formidable firepower, but also had the capability to transport up to 10 Space Marines into battle. The origins of the Repulsor remain unclear, shrouded in the same veil of mystery that surrounds much of the Imperium's lost technology. Anti-gravitic systems, once more common in the distant past, had largely faded into obscurity, with only a few rare examples still in existence. It is possible that, during his 10 millennia-long research, Call recovered an intact standard template construct, containing the blueprints for such a vehicle. Alternatively, he may have devised entirely new methods to develop this technology, an act that would be considered nothing short of heresy within the Imperium. In the rigid doctrine of the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Imperium's technological priesthood, true innovation is forbidden. Their belief dictates that all knowledge already exists and merely needs to be rediscovered, not altered. Any attempt to improve upon or create new technology is seen as a violation of the sacred machine god's will and is punishable by death. However, Call operates on the fringes of these laws, often disregarding them entirely. His defiance has earned him the ire of many within the Adeptus Mechanicus, but he remains untouchable due to the protection of Repulsor Guilliman, the Lord Commander of the Imperium. As Guilliman's personal Archmagos, Call has been granted an unprecedented level of freedom, his genius too valuable to suppress, especially in an age where the Imperium is in desperate need of new and superior war machines. Faced with this reality, even the most zealous tech priests of Mars have little choice but to tolerate his methods. Since this is a recent addition to the Imperial military arsenal, precise specifications have yet to be published by the Adeptus Mechanicus and are therefore unknown. The hull of the Repulsor is divided into 3 primary sections. At the front is the cockpit, where the pilot controls the vehicle's movement. Directly behind it lies the main battle station, housing the turret and primary armament. Finally, at the rear there is the passenger compartment, designed to accommodate up to 10 Space Marines. Beneath the hull, a network of anti-gravitic projectors enables the Repulsor's movement. These include 7 emitters on each side and an additional 5 at the front. Unlike similar anti-gravitic technology used by other factions, the Repulsor's field is far more destructive. The immense force it generates not only allows the vehicle to hover, but also crushes anything unfortunate enough to be caught beneath it. A skilled pilot can even weaponize this effect, using the sheer force of the repulsor field to incapacitate or outright destroy nearby enemies. To propel the vehicle forward, 4 powerful engines, whose exact specifications remain undisclosed, are mounted on the sides of the superstructure. This repulsor-based propulsion system grants the repulsor unparalleled mobility, as it does not rely on direct contact with the ground. Unlike tracked or wheeled vehicles, it can effortlessly traverse almost any terrain, whether solid or liquid. This capability provides a significant tactical advantage, allowing the repulsor to maneuver through environments that would be impassable for conventional armoured units, and attack enemy positions from unexpected angles. The repulsor's superstructure covers most of the vehicle, providing crucial protection for both the crew and transported troops. Its front section consists of multiple layers of composite armour plates, angled to increase effectiveness. A small vision port for the driver is located on the left side, accompanied by various optical and targeting systems. Positioned next to the driver is the first of several weapon mounts. On each side of the vehicle, a large entry door allows troops to embark and disembark, with a small weapon mount situated directly above it for additional firepower. At the rear, a larger escape door provides an alternative exit. Notably, despite the repulsor's powerful anti-gravity field, disembarking troops remain. The crew can temporarily redirect the field away from the exits, ensuring a safe deployment process. The overall design of the repulsor draws heavy inspiration from modern US armoured personnel carriers and infantry fighting vehicles. It features an angled frontal profile, while the sides and rear remain flat to maximise internal space. Unlike designs that incorporate sloped side armour, which would reduce available interior room and unnecessarily complicate construction, the repulsor prioritises a balance between protection, functionality and troop capacity. The repulsor's turret houses the gunner and integrates a range of offensive and defensive systems. At the front, an opening accommodates the main armament, with the option to mount a coaxial secondary weapon. This section also features the gunner's vision port and targeting optics for precise aiming. The turret's rear contains radio communication equipment and an Auspex sensor scanner. Like many Imperial vehicles, the repulsor's turret is modular, allowing for multiple weapon configurations as its primary armament. The standard loadout features a heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, a multi-barrel rotary weapon capable of unleashing a relentless hail of fire, perfect for shredding swarms of enemies and lightly armoured targets. If additional anti-armour capability is needed, this can be swapped for a Laser Talon, a powerful short-range laser weapon that fires twin high-energy beams, capable of penetrating even the thickest enemy armour. As a coaxial weapon, an Iron Hail heavy stubber, similar in function to a 20th century heavy machine gun, can be mounted alongside the main armament. Additional armaments can be mounted on top of the turret, including another Iron Hail heavy stubber or a smaller Onslaught Gatling cannon for added suppressive fire. To further enhance its firepower, the turret can also be fitted with a variety of rocket or grenade launchers on its sides, increasing its combat versatility. Despite its formidable arsenal, much of which was mounted externally, the repulsor's turret felt surprisingly cramped for a vehicle of its size. This design choice is consistent with other Warhammer 40k Imperial tanks, which, for reasons unknown, tend to feature relatively small turrets despite carrying massive weaponry. It's worth noting that the average Space Marine, when clad in power armour, stands well over 2 meters tall, with Primaris Marines being even larger. This necessitates significant internal space within the vehicle to accommodate their bulk. In addition to its turret-mounted weaponry, the repulsor can also be equipped with 2 hull-mounted heavy bolters. These are large-caliber machine guns that fire rocket-propelled, mass-reactive shells, commonly referred to as bolts. Each bolt is designed to penetrate most infantry armour, and even light vehicles before detonating inside the target for maximum lethality. If required, these heavy bolters could be swapped for a pair of laser cannons. While these laser-based weapons had greater range and armour penetration than the Laser Talon, they fired at a slower rate. Above the side doors, 2 additional weapon mounts were positioned. These were typically armed with storm bolters, which functioned as smaller, rapid-fire variants of the heavy bolter. If needed, they could be replaced with Fragstorm grenade launchers, which fired anti-personnel munitions, ideal for clearing out enemy infantry. Lastly, above the large rear door, another weapon mount was located. This one could be fitted with either an Iron Hail heavy stubber or an Icarus rocket pod, both designed for anti-aircraft defence. ensuring the Repulsor maintained a degree of protection against aerial threats. The Repulsor is typically crewed by a minimum of 2 to 3 Space Marines. The driver is seated within the hull, while a Tech Marine, a specialised Space Marine engineer responsible for vehicle maintenance and battlefield repairs, is also part of the crew. A third crew member, serving as a dedicated gunner, may be included depending on mission requirements. In addition to its crew, the Repulsor has the capacity to transport up to 10 Primaris Space Marines, allowing it to function as both an armoured transport and a frontline combat vehicle. As previously mentioned, the Repulsor is outfitted with an extensive array of weapon systems, ensuring it has virtually no blind spots when engaging the enemy. Normally, operating such a heavily armed vehicle would require a sizable crew. However, thanks to their genetically enhanced physiology, Space Marines possess significantly faster reflexes and superior cognitive processing compared to ordinary humans. This allows them to acquire, assess, and engage multiple targets within seconds, long before a conventional soldier would even detect the threat. As a result, only a small crew is needed to operate the Repulsor with maximum efficiency. The Repulsor's armour is composed of multiple layers of heat and shock-resistant ceramic material known as ceramite, reinforced with adamantium, an incredible strong and nearly indestructible metal. This combination provides exceptional protection against both kinetic and energy-based weaponry. However, specific details regarding the exact thickness of its armour remain undisclosed. Unlike modern infantry fighting vehicles and armoured personnel carriers, which prioritise mobility over heavy protection, the Repulsor is said to possess near impenetrable armour. Given the formidable enemies the Imperium faces, this level of protection is a necessity. In many ways, its design is more akin to that of a 21st century main battle tank, utilising layered materials to maximise durability and resilience against a wide array of hostile weaponry. While many of the Space Marines' previous vehicles were relics from a bygone era, the Repulsor marks a significant departure from tradition. Unlike its predecessors, many of which were ancient and irreplaceable, the Repulsor is a mass-produced vehicle, at least by Space Marine standards. Though still manufactured in relatively limited numbers compared to the vast arsenals of the Imperial Guard, it has been widely adopted by numerous Space Marine chapters across the galaxy. Whether this new edition will prove to be a game-changer on the battlefield, or merely another tool in the Imperium's endless war, remains to be seen. This concludes our video on the Primaris Space Marine Repulsor. What are your thoughts on this concept of a fast-moving anti-gravity battle tank? Do you think it fits within the grim and brutal warfare of the Warhammer 40k universe? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more breakdowns of Warhammer 40k or other sci-fi vehicles, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future content. If you'd like to support our work, consider contributing via Patreon or PayPal. Your support helps fund our research, illustrations and video production. We'd like to give a special thanks to our medium and heavy tank Patreon supporters: Dan Fitzpatrick, Dave Shuford, Leslie Holkower, Michael Herman, Owen M and Wolfhund. Your generosity keeps this project alive. Until next time, keep us in your sights.